Well, g'day guys. I've got a little bit of a guest with me this week on our Questions for Rugby League Week's Facebook page, and it's none other than the biggest rugby league fan this side of Mona Vale, and Roosters' biggest fan, Gussie Wall. G'day, Gussie.
G'day, MG. How are you, everyone?
I've noticed this week that the referees get a big mention in all the questions from our listeners, so I thought I'll give my account of affairs on what I think is right, and then I'll get one from the fans' point of view. That's all right with you?
Yeah, of course, mate. Beautiful.
Okay, Matty Redmond says, do you think a ref should be able to overrule the video ref's decision if it is clearly wrong? Well, Matt, I think the only way you can find out if it's clearly wrong is going to the video refs to the big screen. So it's going to create a big Pandora's box. My thinking in this is get rid of the video ref altogether. If there's a decision that you don't like from the referee, you use a captain's challenge. You get 2.5, and if you get one wrong, well, that negates your second challenge. But I think the video ref's getting way too much longer. But what about from the fans' point of view, Gus? What do you like?
Well, I think from the fans' point of view, all you want to do, MG, is get the right decision. And I think the video refs most of the time get the right decision. It's the howlers that we're upset about. And if a referee's there and he looks up on the big screen, like the one, let's say Slater on the weekend, referee goes up and goes, that's not a try. We could all see it. Took one shot of that particular piece of TV, bang, he's dropped it. He should go, you know what, I want you to double check that again because I reckon you got it wrong. I reckon the referee at the end of the day makes the final call and he just goes, sorry mate, you got it wrong, no try, back to the 20. That's all we want. We just want the decisions right.
On the field, but I think the last thing they want to do is rule on it because that's why they send it upstairs.
I understand, but they're sending stuff upstairs too much anyway.
Yeah.
Well, when you see a howler like that in the English in the State of Origin and the Forum one the week before, I mean, got blind Freddie, Stevie Wonder could have worked that out. He could have.
Come on, mate, don't be like that.
He could.
Well, this is a good question. Nathan Durkin leads us into that. Would it not be better for the game to scrap the video ref? The game thrived for 90 odd years without the video ref. Now this ridiculous concept slows our game down and takes attention away from the real superstars of the game. I agree 100% with you, Dirks. I think that even the two referees, for mine, it hasn't worked. I think we over-scrutinise the ruck area and we look for penalties that aren't there. Get rid of the video ref, get rid of two referees. Let's go back to a little bit more simplistic. But saying that, the video ref does catch a lot that we would have ordinarily missed.
Of course, you're a dinosaur, mate. You played when the game was so slow. Now the game is so super quick, you've got to have as many eyes on it as possible. And I love it as a fan. When it goes upstairs, you're sitting there, you're making your own mind up. If you're home, you're sitting there, would it be a try, will it not be a try? It actually adds to the game. I believe you've just got to make the decisions, get them right. I mean, the problem is they're making the bad decisions when everyone looks at it on the TV and goes, well, if I was a video ref, it's no try. 90% of us would agree. They've just got the wrong people in there.
What do you think about the captain's challenge?
I love that. I love that idea as well.
So you want everything. You want to see a game go for 4 hours.
It doesn't matter though because it's exciting. You're either waiting for a try against your team or a try for your team. It adds to the game for mine. The simple fact is the game's so quick anyway. What's the problem if it goes for a couple more minutes and you get the decisions right?
A lot. Anyway. Paulie Junior Hodges says, MG, could you please be a ref? Because these refs we have are terrible.
Did you watch him when he played his career?
Do you think it's time for Billy Harrigan and Stuart Raper to be sacked as refs bosses? I'll tell you what, Paul. Probably not sacked, but this is what I propose for this weekend's game, the biggest game of the year. The video refs for the grand final should be Bill Harrigan and Stuart Raper. Let's put them back in whence they come. I think that the video refs have been... I'm never going to become a ref, obviously, but I wouldn't mind sitting in a box one day with a video ref to rule on decisions.
Yeah,
that'd be a good idea.
They should have as many ex-players as possible.
Yeah. What do you think about me? What do you think about Harrigan and Raper being the video refs for this weekend?
I think that's a great call. I think it's fantastic. I'm not sure if Stuart Raper, he'd never had any refereeing experience himself. Bill should definitely be the video ref this weekend.
But he was a player. He played first grade. So
and he was a first grade coach, Stuart Raper. I understand that Bill should definitely be. I don't know about Raper. You being a referee, well, obviously, Paulie Junior Hodges never saw your career because you were one of the most ill-disciplined player that's ever played AFL or NRL. Full stop.
Don't talk about AFL.
34 weeks you were suspended.
Can you not talk about AFL here, please?
You're sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, go the Hawks.
Neville Reed Mark. I love these middle names. Sounds really exotic. Like Mark Bradley Guy. What's yours?
Angus William Gordon Ward.
Yeah, you fucking...
Don't swear, mate.
We'll cut that out. Is it about time the league revisited reserve grade? We are losing too much talent to other codes that are too old for 20s. The fans love it. What's your opinion? Neville, best question of the winter. I couldn't agree more with you. A lot of our younger stars of the game. Once they get to 20, if they're not good enough for under 20s, well then they're lost to the game. They've got to go play park footy.
No, they're not. They're playing the New South Wales Cup.
Mate, would you as a fan, wouldn't you rather rocking up to a game? Okay, you've got at 12 o'clock. You've got the under 23s or under 20s.
Yep.
At 1:30 you've got reserve grade.
Yep.
And at 3 o'clock
Like
you've
it
got
used
first
to be.
grade. That's it.
Would love that, and you get more people to the game because you've got 3 games. But the simple fact is, we do have reserve grade at the moment. It's just under the New South Wales Cup situation. You've got the grand final this weekend, Balmain versus Newtown. Now, Newtown's a feeder club for the Roosters. Balmain obviously a feeder club
But
for
they
the
never play the
Tigers.
same ground. They never play the same ground of them
That's-
before. That's what we want.
That's true. Why don't we have the New South Wales Cup? But if you're associated with a club like Newtown, should play before the Roosters' first grade games. You get people to the game longer. You probably have more people eating more pies, more chips, more beers because they're there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily me, mate.
Oh, sorry.
But what I'm saying is you've got 3 games and that's worth your 15, 20, 25 bucks, what it is for a normal club game. So, Neville, you're onto it.
Well, now that the Independent Commission's given us that we've got the $1 billion for the game, that we can afford to give the teams that can't afford reserve grades a reserve grade team.
Absolutely.
At their home ground.
Well, you've got North Sydney, who's a feeder club for South Sydney. So let's say first game next
Doesn't
year,
matter, yeah.
Roosters versus South. Well, you've got your under 20s, and then you've got your North versus Newtown, and then the main game. You'd have just as many people watching the second half of that game as you would for first grade.
Yep.
People would go along, so that's a great idea.
Yep, there you go, guys. That's another week. Next week, make sure you get your questions in for next week, where we'll do a grand final review of what went down in the grand final. So get your questions in, go to the event line, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Enjoyed it, MJ. Thanks, brother.
Well done, Gus.
See you, mate.